Hey, this is Jared, and you are watching Backroad Exploration. And today I want to talk about the 5 accessories that we take with us on every single one of our adventures. Over the past few years, my family's been exploring the most remote areas in Utah in our Jeep. And over that time frame, we've found some accessories that really matter a lot to us out on our adventures and out on the trail. So I think it's important to point out that these aren't necessarily the first 5 things that you should get, or even the 5 most important things that you should have. Depending on what you already have in your gear, some of these might not work for you, but these have made our lives a lot easier. Also, before I mention any accessories, please make sure you have a good set of recovery gear and a good first aid kit before you buy anything else for any of your adventures. So, the first accessory that we absolutely love and take with us on every adventure is our winch. Now, we're running the Smitty Bilt XRC8 winch, and it's been fantastic for us. To me, a winch is one of those items that in the past, I've been really on the fence on whether or not you even need one. And depending on your setup and who you go with, you might not need one. If you always go in groups and at least one other person, maybe even more than that, has a winch with them, you might be better off buying some other recovery gear that they don't have to kind of build out a bigger portfolio of recovery gear for your group. But for me and my family, we're either on adventure solo or going with my brother's family who doesn't have a winch, and so having one has been really important for us. We've had to use it in a few situations where if we hadn't had a winch, we would have been completely out of luck. Just this past winter, we did a trip with my boys up in the mountains in the snow, and we ended up about sliding completely off of the trail. If the Jeep would have gone off, it would have rolled. Luckily, we had the winch. We were able to hook up onto a tree, winch ourselves back onto the trail. A vehicle couldn't have pulled us backwards. We were solo anyways, but it couldn't have pulled us backwards. That would have made us slide off the trail. So having a winch was absolutely crucial. It's one of those accessories that you don't use very often, but when you need one, there is nothing that can replace it. Now, depending on your vehicle and its weight and the gear that you have, that's going to really determine what winch is right for you. But I just recommend that you get something that can handle your vehicle weight, the gear, and have extra pulling power to get you out of some of those really tight, stuck situations. If you're stuck in mud or snow, it actually kind of creates a suction, so you want to make sure you just have enough pounds of pressure to pull your vehicle out in case of those situations. The second accessory that we take with us on every single trip is actually the newest addition to our kit. All of the other accessories I'm going to talk about today I've been running for multiple years, but this phone mounting solution from BulletProof Mounting Solutions has been an absolute game changer for me. When I'm out on the trail, I'm using my phone constantly as my primary navigation device. I'm also taking it out to take pictures when I'm out on the trail, to mark different campsites and things like that. I've had some kind of those crappy mounts that you can mount to your dash. They never worked off-road. They would kind of work on the pavement, but even then, sometimes they'd rattle loose and my phone would drop. Most of the time, I'd literally be taking my phone out, put it in the cup holder, and when I needed to check something, be pulling it up. It was such a pain. Picking this up has made my life so much easier when I'm off-road. A lot of the trips that I'm going on, I literally have never been there before. I'm just looking on a map, looking online, seeing areas, points of interest, things that I want to check out, and then trying to go and see them. So being able to quickly open up my mapping app and look at where I'm at on the trail, see where the next point of interest is, things like that has been so convenient. This thing is super sturdy. It's actually really nice. It has another mounting point here that you can put a GoPro on, or I could add an additional arm if I ever wanted to add like a tablet or a full-time, mapping device. Right now I just utilize the phone, which means it's wearing a lot of hats and has to do a lot of work. So having it here, quick and convenient, is so handy. It's one of those accessories that, while not necessary whatsoever, has made my life so much easier out on my adventures. It's something I wish I would have picked up a long time ago. The third accessory I want to share with you is the Jeep Attic from the guys over at Blue Ridge Overland Gear. This is a really cool storage feature that I've absolutely loved. We've had it for over a year and a half now, and we utilize it day in and out in the Jeep and on our adventures. Essentially what it does is it hangs in between the roll cage in the rear of the Jeep above the passengers' heads. This allows you to take advantage of that space basically between the roll bars and the roof of the Jeep to stuff gear and things like that. What I really like about it is for our day-to-day, and if we're going on like a day trip, things like that, we'll just stuff jackets up there. It makes it so they're up out of the way, but they're also a really easy, quick grab in case it gets cold. When we're on our longer adventures, we usually keep all of our clothing in packing cubes. And being able to just hurry and shove the gear up there, the clothing up there, keeps them out of the way, out of the dirt. My kids are always getting so dusty and dirty. They're jumping in and out of the vehicle, and having that there keeps it completely out of the way. They're not getting dirty. It's not getting dirty or wet or different things like that. It's important to note that I have young kids, and so the way that it hangs down, it doesn't actually hit their head. But if you're putting an adult in the back or a teenager, you need to cinch it up a little bit so that you aren't bugging them, hitting them in the head the whole time when they're in the back seat, which would be really annoying. There is enough room to still cinch it up and still keep stuff there, but obviously the more cinched up it is, the less storage space that you can get out of it. I believe that they also have this for the 4Runner as well, so if you're not running a Jeep but you have a 4Runner, it's a really good way to take advantage of some of the kind of unused space in the headroom area in the rear passenger of your 4Runner as well. The fourth accessory that we take with us on every single one of our trips is the Trasharoo. If you've watched my channel for very long, you know that I love these things. This is my second one. In fact, my first one died just a couple of weeks ago, and I finally picked up a new one. And I looked at a lot of other systems out there. There's a lot of great spare tire trash bags out there. So depending on how much you want to spend, you can pick something else up. The reason that I like the Trasharoo is I think it's the best value for your money. You're getting really good quality at a very acceptable price. There are some bags out there that are much nicer, that are going to last you longer and be more durable, but they are going to cost you about 3 times as much money. So keep that in mind. But I think it's really important to pack out what you pack in. And for my family, when we're out on our adventures, between the 5 of us, we create a lot of garbage when we're eating and those types of things, and we still have a baby who's in diapers. So when we have a stinky diaper, we put that in a plastic bag, tie it off, we can put it here, and it can be here for days without killing us off from the smell. So having a way to do that and not keep it in the vehicle is really important to us. The Trasharoo also is good for just general storage, which is important to us because we need as much storage as we can possibly get. It has a couple of features. It has this kind of mesh netting system on the front. Typically in here, we're just putting things that we don't care that get dirty and that we want quick access to. So I'll actually put propane tanks in here when we're out on our adventures so we can quickly pull it out and hook it up to our stove. Up here in the top, there's a zipper that's nice and a pocket that comes in. Usually here, I'm actually putting like the dog's leash, and we're putting her food and things like that. I don't really necessarily want those always rattling around in the vehicle, and it's quick, easy access for us that I can pull it out, feed her, things like that. Obviously, you've got the main storage compartment in here. It's pretty dang big. In fact, a lot of guys will actually drop wood in the bottom, and we've done that on a few of our adventures as well. If we're going somewhere where you cannot cut wood, or gather wood, I should say, or there just isn't any to gather, it's nice to throw a couple logs in the bottom of this. You can then put your liner in here and utilize it for your trash, and so it's kind of an extra way to carry storage. Now, there are weight capacities. If you want to learn more about the Trasharoo, I actually did a long-term review of the one that I had before. I had it for over 3 years. It was on the vehicle for 2.5 of that, full time. This is not a garaged vehicle, it's outside. So it weathered pretty well. It faded really quickly, so I went with the tan this time to see if it would, hold up to the sun and UV a little bit better. And the other one was always super dusty, or at least looked dusty. This will be super dusty, but because it's tan, you're not going to be able to notice it. So I really like having a Trasharoo. Like I mentioned, there's other great systems out there. So if you're wanting to pick something else up, that's totally fine. But it's just really important to me that I'm taking care of all of the trash that we generate. And I found that, in fact, just sitting here making this video, I've seen trash that I'm going to pick up, put in here, and take home with me. So I just know that it's a good way to keep trash under control when you're out on the trail, and it's something that's really important to us that we utilize all the time. For the fifth accessory and most used accessory, the fold down tailgate table from Front Runner Outfitters. There are a bunch of fold down tables out there. This is the only one that I've owned, but I'm sure other ones are great as well. I feel like this is a good kind of median priced ones. There's ones that are much more expensive, made of a little bit better materials, and ones that are much cheaper, but not necessarily as well built. I feel like this is a nice happy medium. But what I really like about this is that it makes cooking out of the vehicle so convenient. So it just quickly pops down. It has a slide out here that we utilize all the time. So we'll put our, food and prep that we're doing right there. And then obviously our stove will go here and we're cooking from it. This gets used on every single one of our trips multiple times a day. In fact, even if I'm not cooking, I'll often fold it down. I'll use it to make sandwiches and things like that. And then I'll actually pull my camp chair out, set it right here, and sit here and use it as my table to eat. I don't always take a regular table with us, depending on how many people are going, and just because tables take up so much space. And so being able to kind of double this as a table is really, really nice. Now, it's important to point out that this only works on an overland vehicle that has a rear swing out. I have seen some people who have a dedicated rig where they'll actually drill into the side of their vehicle and put some type of a folding table system. But obviously that's only going to work for someone who is probably either traveling full-time or has a full-time or a dedicated overland rig. So for us, this has been really, really handy. Like I said, we're pulling this out and utilizing it at every single one of our meals. I've absolutely loved it. I've had it for almost 2 years now. It was the first thing I picked up and added to the Jeep after buying it, and I don't regret it for a single second. It has been so convenient. When I'm here, I want to be able to pull out the cooler, grab food from inside the Jeep, immediately set it here, and just start cooking. In fact, we'll often just stop on our adventures for lunch. We're just pulling off the side of the trail in a lot of situations, and I want to be able to quickly make up lunch, eat lunch, then clean up, fold it up, and we're back on the trail. This thing has been so convenient. I absolutely love it. If you have some type of a rear swing out on your vehicle, whether you have a Jeep or some of the GXs and other vehicles out there have a swing out like this, it just really makes cooking that much more convenient. And again, you just only have so much surface space that you can generate between all of your gear, and this gives you really compact but extra surface space for cooking and things like that. That's really handy while out on the trail. That is a look at the 5 accessories that we take with us on every single adventure. If you have one that you love, please jump in the comments and share with me what you utilize out on your trips. I love the comments and interaction. I've taken a lot of ideas from the viewers of this channel. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button, share it with a friend, and if you want to catch all of our adventures, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to follow me on the day-to-day, you can head over to Instagram at BackRoad Exploration. Thanks so much for watching.